Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has disbanded his war cabinet, the body established to oversee the campaign against Hamas in Gaza, as community anger grows over the government's handling of the long-running conflict. There were clashes between anti-government protesters and police outside Mr Netanyahu's Jerusalem home after an earlier demonstration outside Parliament. Fires were lit and authorities used water cannon to disperse the crowd. The demonstrators are demanding fresh elections take place in Israel after the 6-member war cabinet was dissolved. They fear the Prime Minister and his allies will try to draw out the war. Campaigners believe there's momentum for change.
This week is a very important week because it's the first week of strong resistance, and we hope that at the end of this week or the next week we'll change the government, we'll force the government to make a deal, to have the hostages back and to have elections as soon as possible.
Israel's war cabinet was formed in a show of unity after the October the 7th attacks by Hamas in southern Israel. The smaller decision-making body was a condition of opposition party member Benny Gantz to effectively sideline far-right members of Mr Netanyahu's government. But Mr Gantz left the cabinet after months of tensions over Israel's Gaza strategy and the lack of progress to bring home the dozens of hostages held by Hamas in Gaza. The US says Mr Netanyahu had few options on the table.
The war cabinet was an internal domestic measure taken by the Prime Minister to better advise and provide him counsel on the war. We said at the time that we believed it was a worthwhile step, and we still hold by that. But with Mr. Gantz's decision to leave, I'm not sure that Prime Minister Netanyahu was left with a whole lot of other choices.
The Israeli PM will now rely on members of his security cabinet, a broader body which includes hardline ministers. Some oppose ceasefire efforts. It could complicate efforts to broker talks for a truce. Divisions in the Israeli government again emerged this week after an Israeli military pause was announced on a key route in southern Gaza to allow much-needed aid into the territory. After more than 8 months of war, displaced Palestinians just want the war to stop.
It is enough. The war has been long and we are no longer able to endure. As you can see where we are, our homes are gone and we are psychologically and financially destroyed. We live in tents. The epidemic, poverty and hunger have wiped us out. We as adults are tired, so what about the children? For our sake and the sake of our children, the war must stop.
While Israel and Hamas consider the details of the ceasefire proposal, hostilities continue. The Israeli military is pressing ahead with its offensive in the southern city of Rafah. It's also dealing with simmering tensions with Hezbollah on its northern border. Israeli officials say a member of the militant group was killed in a strike in southern Lebanon.
Hezbollah's increasing aggression is bringing us to the brink of what could be a wider escalation, one that could have devastating consequences for Lebanon and the entire region. Hezbollah is jeopardizing the future of Lebanon so that it can be a shield for Hamas, a shield for the Hamas terrorists